A Pioneer tuner without any line fuse, no overcurrent protection in it from the factory. And I'll let you see the rest of it here. So we're going to put a line fuse in here. So we're going to put it on this side of the power transformer because it's the live side. I'm going to make sure that this other wire is out of the way here. So we are going to clean some solder off the tip. Tin the iron just a little bit. And we'll take this wire off the transformer. Careful not to melt anything. There we go. And we can clip that off. We'll strip some insulation off here. This is called flux. We'll dip the solder wire in there a little bit. And we'll put some flux on here. And again over here. We'll put some solder on the iron. We can tin this wire here a little bit. We'll take the fuse block. That'll straight out a little bit, so we'll squeeze that in. Cut the tip off there. Now it fits in the hole nice. We will I'll go on the other side where I put the flux. Squeeze it down, peen it up so it's nice and flat. Put some solder on our iron. And this is called drop soldering. Nice solder joint on that side. But I don't see the wire poking through it, so I'm going to heat it up and just push it in a little bit. There we go. See how I have a little bit of the strands showing right there? So we have a good clean solder joint on this side, and a nice solder joint on the other side. Now we'll cut a piece of yellow wire here. Again, we'll tin the wire. Dip it in the flux. Get a little flux on here. Yeah, I stripped that a little long, so we're going to cut a little bit of that off. Again, we'll do the same thing. We'll push down and squeeze over here. That gets the wire nicely neat in there. Put some more solder on our iron. Make sure that you don't melt the insulation on the wire. Hold it and let it cool. See the strands poking out there? I'll turn it over. It didn't take too good on the other side, so we're going to heat this other side up some. There it is. Now it's nicely filled in around the hole over there on the bottom. And the top is nicely filled. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to mount that block down inside there. So we're going to have to unscrew the transformer here. We can just move this over a little bit. Okay, see the rivets on the bottom of this fuse block? They might touch. They're very, very close to the metal. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of electrical tape and lay it underneath the fuse block. It can be tricky getting that piece of tape in there nice and neat. There we go. I'll just set the block down on there to see how it's going to fit. Perfect. Now I'll just poke a little hole through where the screws got to go through. And now we're ready to solder this other wire up onto the transformer. I got to get this one up out of the way here so it doesn't get the wires all, I'm trying to get all the strands all nice and tight around the post there. Now we can solder that. My tip got really dirty there, so I'm going to clean it there, which I just did. Tin it a little bit. I'll take and get some flux in there. Make sure I don't burn the wire next door to me there. And let it cool. Now we're done soldering, so we'll just tin the tip because we're going to be storing it. And I can just unplug it. I just look there, make sure nothing is melted, and it's not. So now I'm going to screw the block in. Okay, you get it nice and straight. Now use a socket set to tighten the nut on the bottom. Now we can put the transformer back in. That little notch lines up there. That little notch lines up there. And we'll put the two screws back in. I believe this resistor is the path to the ground for the signal coming into the antenna terminals. Okay, so we are ready to put the 1/4 amp fuse in. And we'll just make sure these wires are down out of the way of everything. Okay, my block looks a little crooked, so I'm going to take a screwdriver here and just twist it over a little bit. It's nice and neat now. And I'll just make sure my screw on the bottom stays tight. Again, I'll use this. Okay, it's tight, so there it is, all done. So this is the Pioneer Stereo Tuner tx-540.